Hi everyone, welcome to the Big Man Breakdown Show with Nathan. Yes, bro, how are you?
Good, man. Good.
Little breakaway, summertime now.
No transfers.
Yes.
Nothing. Spurs are signing transfers.
Before we get on to the transfer window and next season, just going to go through a quick player ratings with you for last season. So, player by player, let's start with Ramsdale.
I'll give Ramsdale a 7. Yeah, 7.5. And the reason why he's not an 8, I feel towards the second half was a good little learning curve for him. I'm hoping that he comes back next season and is just kicks off where he left off last season. I feel like some of the games towards the end, little mistakes, and he just didn't seem the same. Maybe that was Arteta. I don't know, maybe these things changed up on him. Maybe they told him to be less. But he seemed to be, when he first started with us, a lot of shouting, a lot of control in the back line. Old-fashioned keeper. You used to see it with Schmeichel, all of the greats. Lehmann for us, yeah. Used to be controlling the back line, shouting, make sure everyone's in place. And it kept us with a nice strict. It was like we had a captain in goal. And I thought towards the second half, when he come back, just wasn't as commanding. Little mistakes, which happens anyway as a keeper, but his confidence levels didn't seem. So I'm hoping next season he pushes on and we get a full season from him with the same sort of energy.
Okay, Leno.
Who?
Leno.
Nothing really to say about him. Just get him out of the club. He only played a few games. When he did come in, done a good job. Yeah, he don't need a rating, but yeah, when he come in, done a good job. So 6.
Okay, Tommy Yasu.
Big Tommy. I give him an 8. And if it wasn't for injury, for me, he was probably one of our standout players. Even when he come back from injury, we had him at left back, and he was, for me, man at match at left back. So he's a good player for us, a really solid signing. I hope summertime he can just really push on with his calf injuries and just get back, and we can get a full season out of him. Because with him in defence, whoever's coming down that side, I just feel he just does a job for us time in, time out. You can tell him this is what I want you to do, and he just sticks to it. And going forward, I feel next season you'll see a lot more for him. I feel that he has a lot more in the tank going forward. Obviously, man, he's settling into the Prem, but defensively he's a defender, and he does that excels excellently. So I would say, yeah, definitely an 8.
Okay, Cedric.
Cedric came in and had a good, can't disrespect him. He came in, had a few good games. And I think that might be the thing in terms of getting a right back for another season. Plus, we've got a young couple right backs in the under 23s, so it might allow them an extra year and keep Cedric going. So, yeah, Cedric's a 6, man. He done well when he came in for the games, but he's definitely 1 or 2 games, and that's it. We can't have him in there for 4 or 5 games off of the back because he ain't got that in him.
Okay, Ben White.
Ben White, do you know what? He proved me wrong, man. And he proved a lot of the doubters wrong. When we paid 50 million, I was like, who is this guy? Like, I don't remember him for Brighton, but he started a bit shaky. But he had some really good performances, man. I think a lot of performances we were giving it to Gabriel, but I think Ben White was a good, solid performer, man. I think a 7, 7, and I feel that I'm looking for him to definitely be a solid 8 next year.
Okay, Gabriel.
Gabriel 7.5, slightly better. I just feel with Gabriel, he had some performances where it was like, wow, this is our centre back, one of the best defenders in the Premiership. But then he also has some where it's like chicken with a headless chicken, just running around too much and just doing rash challenges, stupid at times where we need him to really hold things together. So I feel he has, sometimes we punish Xhaka a lot for having errors in their game. And I feel that he could be the best defender if he just irons out. And he's young enough to iron out those errors in his game. But yeah, I just feel next season I just want him to really just concentrate on the basics and just do what you do best. And him and Ben White or him and Saliba could just be great partnerships.
Okay, Rob Holding.
Holding, man. He didn't play enough, but 6.5 for me. People get on Holding a lot, but I couldn't remember a bad game Holding had. He came in, done a solid job for us. He's very,
Tottenham.
Yeah, but everyone was bad against
That
Tottenham.
was a really bad game.
Everyone was bad against Tottenham, yeah. But he wasn't like the worst. He just tried to. He got his game plan wrong in the Tottenham game. He tried to come out and old school style, put his stamp on the game. But you can't do that in the Prem nowadays with VAR and with anything else. You can't do it. So yeah, I feel he got that wrong. But everything else, man, he was solid, man. He made a good account of himself, and we got for a defender that he's very different to the other ones. He's definitely a great person to have in the squad, man.
Okay, Kieran Tierney.
Didn't see him enough, and I feel that when he left, you can see the gap that was missing. Maybe because we haven't got good other left backs. I think with a quality other left back, maybe you could poke holes in his game. But he had some really good games. But still, I would say this is one of his probably. I'll say it's probably the worst season he's had when he's been with us. So I'll probably say, for me personally, for the heights that we know he can set, a 6.
Nuno Tavares.
Started off really well. That's the only reason why he gets points. Yeah. But he needs to go on loan. I would say 4, and that's me being generous. But that was because of how he started off in the season. But he's young. I'm hearing there's talks of him going on loan to Atlanta and things like that. I think that would be a great move for him to go to the Italian league, really be playing week in, week out, and just work on those sides of his game, tactics and positioning, which he'll get in the Italian league because they'll expose you otherwise. And I think he's young, man. We've got to give him a little bit of time. Same with the Congo. So, yeah, the poor season, second half, really cost us quite a lot. But then after he cost us those couple games, he's actually all right. But I would say a 4, yeah.
Okay, so into the midfield now. Granit Xhaka.
Do you know what? Xhaka had a decent enough season, man. There was some times where he was a bit, but in terms of consistency, I would say he was more one of our consistent midfielders. Stepped in for us at left back. I would say a 6.5, man. Xhaka done really. I was very disappointed. If we had got top 4, I would have said a 7, but disappointment over the whole season. I would say Xhaka, 6.5.
Okay, Thomas Partey.
When playing, it's hard to do these players because of the injury hit squad. Thomas Partey coming back, probably one of our best players, definitely best midfielder. Too much injuries. I thought we had a bad start to the season. 6.5 as well.
Okay, Mohamed Elneny.
The Egyptian king. 6. Came in, had a good solid couple games, but then after that, went a bit wayward, didn't really see him, but he filled in the gap. And do you know what? A good servant at the club, man. Pat on the back to him, man. Trains well, from what we can see, what we hear. Respectful, always, you know what I mean? Happy to play wherever we need him to play. You never see him sulking. Yeah, a 6.
Okay, Lokonga.
Lokonga, I'm giving a 5. One more than Tavares. And the reason why, I still feel Arsenal's management of players is poor. Yeah? And it was, I would say, when he first came into the side, you remember how good he was. People were saying, this is how Partey should have been, and things like that. But that's where you manage players, and we slowly take him out, edge him back in. But because Arsenal was so bad with the midfield and needed midfielders, he had to play week in, week out. So he was taking the burden of the rest of the players being crap and him being, we always needed a scapegoat. Lukonga's this bad. And he had some bad games, but you need someone beside him that's going to... And the shocking thing for me is Arteta as being a central midfielder. And let's face it, Arteta wasn't ever a great midfielder. But him being a midfielder should be the people that you could bring him on. I'm telling you now, if Lukonga was at Crystal Palace under Patrick Vieira, you'll see a whole different Lukonga and the team develop a lot different. But yeah.
Okay, Saka.
Now, this one's going to shock you, but for the heights that Saka's set, I don't think he had a good season, to be fair. And people took, even the first half, but second half for me was quite poor. And he had a lot of games where he was missing. And maybe that's, again, overplaying him. Pepe should have got a lot more games. There should have been times where we gave Saka that rest or brought him on, do you know what I mean? And when he had bad games on the trot, instead of just burning him out more, and he's a young man, his confidence, he shows it. He's got strong head on his shoulders. So take him out, bring Pepe in, and Pepe stepped in when he needed to step in. Other players you could have played on those rights, man, but I just feel we didn't give him enough. We're not shielding him enough, and it'd be scary if he starts picking up injuries, man. But he's still heads and shoulders above us right now. Still carried us a lot, but people excuse those 2 penalties in the second half of the season to feel that it kind of paid over a lot of the cracks. But yeah, I'm looking for him now just to get a rest. All this England crap he's playing, I'm praying for him to get a rest, and then hopefully he can come back in next season and just be a refreshed player. But yeah, still one of my best. So I'll give him an 8 still.
Okay, Martinelli.
Better in parts. Still a lot of his game to work on. We're always screaming for Martinelli to play, but there's a lot of time he just runs and overholds the ball, and a lot of the time he's just too dominant on the one side. So his left foot is dominant. It doesn't cut in. Needs a bit to work on his other foot. So yeah, maybe play him on the right a little bit where he can't cut in on the left. He has to work a little bit more down that side. I'm not too sure. I'll leave that to the manager. But Martinelli, too in and out for me. I would say 6.5.
Okay, Pepe.
Didn't see him enough, man. I feel sorry for the guy because when he did come in, he actually was alright, and either sell him or play him. Simple, man. Like, he's not that bad of a player that you can't play him. Didn't see him enough, so you have to sort of say 5.5.
Okay, Odegaard.
Good. I still think there's a lot more to come from him. I still think he's good. Every season, you're going to see a better player. I'm still looking for him to take control of games. Maybe we need a better central midfielder, gives him that free reign, having to drop too deep so he can't influence the games up on the field. But work rate is always immense. Just looking for a bit more from him in games where we need to unlock things. But maybe you've got to look at the strikers with good movement. He can find them or whatever. Odegaard had a solid season, though. I'll give him the same as Saka, 8.
Okay, Emil Smith-Rowe.
Again, too inconsistent for me. Showed glimpses of the season before. Shows him when he looked better coming off of the bench. And I feel until he's fully just slowly dripping in a little bit, I feel his management of him has been a lot better. He's having to fight for a place. When we was playing him, he was a lot of games he went missing him. But I still think first half season a lot of assists, a lot of goals. That's what I wanted from his game was goals. Next season now I want to be double figures 100%. So I would say a 7 still.
Okay, Nketiah.
Really good end to the season, man. Shows you can't be giving these players 10 minutes and Arsenal fans expecting the world of him. He's fought to get in the side, fought to get a new contract. Really good end to the season. If we're talking about the times that he's played and when he's come on, 7.5 easy.
Okay, and he's left us now. Alexandre Lacazette.
Few assists, people get gassed over him. Good servant at the club, big baby when he needs to come off. People to be like, that's the sign of a good striker because you don't want to come off with whatever. No, he's just a big baby. Yeah? And if he was getting goals and he was on 2 goals and when he's hat-trick and he was sulking, I can get it. But not enough goals for a striker. You're a striker. We needed you. You didn't really do much for us. So many games. Nketiah should have been playing. And Lacazette was just still getting game. And he was the captain. 6.
Okay, just for overall, as a signing, what rating would you give him? 4 years he spent with us.
Never really reached the heights that we wanted. Managers never really gave him full 90 minutes either. There must be a reason behind that. Started off really well, we scored 3 goals for him. As a signing, 6.
Okay, so that's last season done. As we say, we're on a summer break now. Transfer window's open. I remember speaking to you on our last show. You were saying it's really important we get the transfer business done early. Why do we always leave it late? We should get the players in early, integrate them into the team during pre-season. What's your thoughts?
I think we got to on two sides of the coin. We've got to slow things down and realise that transfer window only opened on June the 10th. Anyway. Yeah.
Well, you say that, but some teams were getting the signings done beforehand.
100%. When we didn't do nothing in January, you knew targets from them, and you said, "Oh, we don't want to overspend and all this sort of stuff in January," and that would have the overspend. Tottenham bought in players in January, and it got them 4th place. So, but let's not dwell on that. Yeah, even though it annoys me. Now let's focus on this transfer window. So why haven't you then bought these signings in? We struggled to get a 19-year-old in for 3 mil. I get there was politics behind it, but that should have been done from ages ago. So I'm just like dragging heels. Link, as always, Arsenal. There's always something on the outside of our transfers, and we'll start. Hey presto, contracts, Saka, Martinelli, Saliba. There's always something which is dwelling over to the reason why we take the concentration away from the transfers. It's not panic stations. We haven't started pre-season, but at least 2 marquee signings before pre-season, so we can incorporate them into the team. They get a good transfer. They get a good summer with the team, whether they're going to Dubai, wherever they're going, and they can all play together and then get some games under their belt. So when it comes to the first game of the season, they actually know each other, not brought in a day before their window and then they're like, oh yeah, the crisis. Nah, it's not.
Okay, so looking at the team, where do you think we need to strengthen?
Same as before, man. We definitely need a marquee striker. I would have bought Isen. 2 strikers, if you ask me. A big signing. And then, like, similar how the Leicester model is. They go out and spend 20, 25 million on a player who is a risk, but is rated highly around Europe or South America or whatever. Not they spend that 20, 25 million, take a risk, and it goes into big things. So I feel we've got to bring in a big striker and then one that's around the 20, 25 million. But then I reckon we send Balogun on loan as well, and then just have 3 strikers, man. And then if you're serious, what happened to the whole Martinelli hasn't been playing because he's going up front? If you're serious about that, then put him up front as well. So you've got another option there. But we can't go into the season with Nketiah and just one other striker. That one striker gets injured, and we're back to square one again. So I feel we do need a couple more.
On the strikers, so we've been linked heavily with Gabriel Jesus and Richarlison. I don't see us getting both, but if we were to get one, which one would you go for?
We've been linked with quite a few. Calvin Lewin, linked with quite a few players. Yeah, the Italian guy. But I just feel personally, you've got to get these signings in now. I get it. I don't want to be sort of pushed out, like sort of like what's the word from Man City, like Rob, like sort of pushed into a corner and making us pay this amount of money to loan you a striker because he's last year his contract. So if he wants to come to us, Edu, use a Brazilian connection, make it sure that he's 100% coming to us, and then just wind it down. But in that time, you've got to bring in another striker at least if we're waiting for Jesus to get the price down. Then bring in another striker. Telemann's in midfield. We lost out to Basuma to Spurs, which is heartbreaking because I really liked him and I thought you could get both him and Telemann's in there and it would transform up midfield. But if we're not, I'm going to respect it. I've forgotten his name, or I've forgotten how you say his name, from Lyon, the midfielder. Apparently he's going for about 12.5 million. That's a risk. Good. Take that risk, 12.5 million. Put him in there. Tillemans, 2 strikers. Is it Hickory, the Scottish guy? You pronounce it. Left back. Very good. Put him in there as a backup to KT. You know you're going to get games because Kerentini gets injured. So you're going to get games. Good to work along each other. Both Scottish. Good passion, heart, desire. That's what we've missed in a lot of games. And they'll bring that for us. So yeah, man. Just need to get some of these signings. But I feel 2 areas. If we was to go and get striker and then Tillemans in midfield, I'll be happy for now for us then to play hardball with a lot more of the other ones and not get overpriced because we don't want these players coming in and messing up and paying them over on the wages for them to be like, oh, they're not all that, they're mediocre. So yeah, desperation happens with that. So I would just desperately pay that extra 5-10 mil, get Jesus in, get Tillemans in, boom. 2 players. Then we can work around that. I feel we need, as a bare minimum, backup left back, Tillemans midfield, and a striker, preferably Jesus or the target man. And then after that, if Calvin Lewin, Richarlison, one of them players is free, then we can start getting the more luxuries. But as a raw basis, we need those 3 players. No doubt about it. Go out there, pay a little bit more money, get them in there, and then we can then play hardball with the rest of them.
Okay, so yeah, let's hope we do start getting some transfer business done soon. Looking at some of the contract renewals now, so there's a lot of talk with Saka.
He ain't going nowhere.
The media, we know what it's like. The media like to create a story.
Story.
You know, but
the only thing that I feel Saka will do, and too right, I'll do the same. I think he'll play. I think there'll be a clause in there, like if we don't get Champions League in the next 2 years, it puts a release clause on his contract or something like that. Don't blame him, man. You know what I mean? Once he playing at the top of his game, once he's playing European finals and stuff like that, he wants to play at the big stage. So we'll work with him on that. But he's an Arsenal boy, man. Like, all this transfer talk and all this stuff like that. I feel, in a couple of years, if we're not even floating about it, then but he knows how hard the Premiership is, man. The top 4's not 4 teams no more. It's like 6 or 7. Do you know what I mean? Man United are still down there, so he knows it ain't easy. So he'll sign. Martinelli will definitely sign. The one interesting to look at is Saliba, or Saliba. Because he's interesting to see if, and I've said this already, if he doesn't have a new contract, sell him. No matter how much I think he's going to be great, and I reckon he'll be great for us, but no new contract. I'm not having this crap of bringing him down to his last year, and then we've got every Tom, Dick and Harry after him. He goes into puts us to the sword. That's not. So just new contract or say like gas him up. We want you to be the future. We want you to be centre back. This is your position. We've got so many other competitions. We want you to get your position, hold it down for the whole season. We want you to be the leader of our back line. We'll play 3 at the back. Tell him whatever he needs to have. Sign that contract. Then just get me. You're a kid. What do you mean like about your dominating? Because you was in with Guendouzi. This is that little sideshow Bob, yeah. You got Saliba back now. Tell him what he needs to hear. Give him some sweets and a new contract, bro, yeah. Tell him what he needs to hear. Once that's done, it's done, man. Then after that, you can tell him sharp, like you're on a 5 years. Do as we say, bro. What do you mean you'll do as we say, and that's it, bro. He's young, do you know what I mean? And then I reckon he's good enough to get into that side. He's shown it, do you know what I mean? And it's good, man.
Okay, one more renewal is Nketiah. You think he will sign?
It's done, man. He'd be a fool to go anywhere else. Where are you going to go? Crystal Palace. The only time I would say to him is that if he had to leave, it's like West Ham, who are up there with us, yeah? Then I could say, do you know what? They're not really going to drop down to the relegation. They're up there. I'll say it's a good, and if you can go there and do well, it's a good thing, yeah? Antonio's sort of edging towards the end of his, well, not end of his career, but he's getting older. You can definitely see you'll get some minutes in there and you'll get time in there, yeah? But let's start Crystal Palace. If someone comes knocking for Patrick Vieira, he goes, Crystal Palace go downhill, you're then looking at relegation. Whereas why don't stay at Arsenal and be a part of something that's building? You're going to get minutes there, and at least you're going to play top level football now. Why are you on the He's staying, and he's an Arsenal player, he's an Arsenal fan, he ain't going nowhere. This is your agent in the air.
Yeah, we know what it's like this time of year, the agents, the media, a lot of hype.
Same as Balogun, same crap with Balogun. It's silent, do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay, so just to finish with on this week's show, I want to ask you, what is your minimum expectation from us next season?
I want us to get signings in and push for a top 3. Yeah? And then if we fell for a top 3, we get top 4. Not push for a top 4 and then be floating around 5 or 6. I feel to get top 4, you have to be up there with the top 2 and be challenging for the Premiership. Even if you fall off, lose games, you'll be challenging for the Premiership. You're in the mix of the Premiership. Then you can fall off into top 4. I don't feel you can float around 4th or 5th and then hope that come end of the season you're in 4th place. Because then we miss out by whatever. Really, if we'd have had consistency as we showed, we'd have been top 3. Because Chelsea were playing awful in the second half. But they managed to, because of their position that they set at the start, and they fell off from the race, they still managed to hold that 3rd place because they were so up so high. That's what I thought we need to do.
Okay, and what about trophy-wise?
Trophy? It is Arsenal talk. Or what kind of trophy do you say?
Well, you know, we've got to be aiming high.
Leave it. FA. You know what? We should be able to get the Europa. With that team, I feel personally, if he goes and wins the Europa Cup, yeah, I think that's a good season, man. A Europa Cup, regardless if we finish fourth or not. You know what? A good season for Arsenal next season, which shows great progress. Europa Cup and top 4. If a bit under that, FA Cup and top 4. Very good season for Arsenal. Europa Cup top 4, FA Cup top 4. But great season.
Let's hope so, bro. So that's all from us for this week. Thanks, bro.
No problems, man.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share.